Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. It's been a little while, but I do have some more video ideas for you guys lined up for the next couple weeks. But I want to start off with the topic of swing tempo and rhythm. Now, this is a topic that is very well known and everybody knows about, but don't really know how to apply or change just because it's not a very technical subject. However, a person's rhythm can affect the sequencing of certain body parts throughout the swing and make it more difficult to make solid contact. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you are visiting my channel for the first time, please subscribe to see more golf-related content. So when it comes to rhythm, probably the biggest mistake a lot of people make is just the speed of their backswing or their takeaway versus how long it takes for them to transition from the top of their swing down. So what I see a lot is that players make their backswings very, very quick, and then also they initiate their downswing very, very quickly as well. So they kind of look like they're going like this, like they're just trying to take as little time as possible from the top. And what that does is that it throws off all the kind of sequencing of your body. It makes your arms go really quick, and it doesn't allow you to utilize your body very well. So for instance, if I were to try and replicate that kind of rhythm, where I go really fast and then really quick coming down, you can see that my arms are really kind of move quickly, but my body doesn't really have time to match up with my arms. So another reason why you don't want your backswing or transition to be so quick is because it takes away a lot of feel that you have, and a lot of control over the club during the backswing at the top as well. So if it's too quick, people often tend to lose, the sensation of length, and also a sensation of maybe awareness of where the club stops at the top of the swing. So it'll make it very difficult to control your length. It'll make it very difficult, again, to just get the club head back onto the ball. And I think when you watch better ball strikers, I think when they hit the ball, they make it look relatively effortless, and they still get the ball to go very far. Now, that's just showing you that up to a certain point, you don't really need to use your muscle so much, but rather you need to make sure that you deliver the club head into the ball efficiently, you get really good contact, and that's what's going to get the ball to jump faster off the face and give you the most distance. With better ball strikers, you'll see that they seem to be a bit more smooth, and a lot less, not as harsh coming down into impact. The main reason as to why this happens is because people do not have awareness of the weighting of the club, which I think is super important. And I think people that grip it really hard and go very quickly just lose sensation of that. I know that when I swing, I definitely can feel like how heavy the club is throughout the swing, and it gives me a bit more feel, and kind of sensation as to when to release the club, things like that. So I think the first drill that I really want to share with you guys is actually the use of a tool, which I think is really great. So the tool I want to share with you guys is a 7-iron made by the company called GFORCE Golf. Now this is a very whippy club. Okay, the shaft is very thin. It's very flexible. Okay, and the purpose behind this is that if you swing too quickly in your backswing or you transition too quickly in the downswing, it makes it very uncomfortable, and you actually won't be able to hit the golf ball very well. So this forces you to make the backswing much slower, and it forces your transition to actually be a bit slower as well. So in order for you to strike the golf ball correctly, your tempo has to be pretty good. So I think if you feel like you transition quick, you can see how much of that club head kind of whips back behind you. And if you transition really quickly in the downswing, you see that the club head kind of whips down almost past the grip, right? So it'll make it feel very uncomfortable if you're this kind of a person that transitions very quick. So if you watch me, when I take the club back, it forces me to go back very slow and also transition much slower as well, almost to where my backswing and my downswing are at a 1-to-1 ratio. That's just the sensation it gives you. You definitely have to ensure that you accelerate kind of coming down, but I think people that tend to go very quickly in the backswing and transition fast, they need to slow down their transition. So it'll feel as though their backswing and their downswing initiates at a much slower rate. So having a few range sessions with this club in your hand will really give you a good sensation of the correct tempo and the correct rate of transition as you make your downswing. So if you are interested in purchasing this, I will leave a link in the description box to their website, and I do have a discount code that you can use at checkout for a discounted rate. Okay, so another really great kind of exercise or drill that you guys can try out on the range is to take your 7 iron and let's just say, for example, your average distance or your absolute maximum distance for your 7 iron was like 160 yards, for example. Okay, so you're going to take the 7 iron and you're going to try and hit it 100 yards. Okay, so but the trick here is that you have to use a full swing. So what that's going to force you to do, again, it's going to make you make your backswing slower. It's going to make your transition really, really slow, so that you don't overshoot 100 yards, right? So, for example, if I take the 7 iron and I try to go to 100 yards, I have to swing it very, very slow and still a full backswing. So once you can do that, and you have a sensation of how fast you have to swing it, then you just slowly ramp it up, okay? And you maybe just try and land it 10 meters or 10 yards further, okay, on your next shot. So let's try again. Okay. The trick here is to just slowly bump it up until you're pretty close to, your absolute maximum distance. But I would say if you can, between that, like you're like 100 yards and going to your maximum distance, you're gonna find a rhythm where you feel most comfortable and you feel like you're making the most solid contact. And a lot of the times it's well short of like your 100% like full swing. Okay, so for example, for me personally, I only swing it about 80 to 85% of my full strength, just because that's where I feel like I can hit the center the most of the time. My third shot, I'm going to try and land it, maybe 100, 120 meters, 110 yards. But that landed right at 100 meters, so that's about 100, 110, 115 yards, somewhere in that range. Okay, and then now 140, 130 meters. Yep, that landed exactly at 130 meters. Okay, so I'm feeling at about 60% of my full swing. Okay, so this one's going to land, I think, slightly longer. So yeah, about 100, just under 140 meters. So if you can have this sort of control over how fast you're swinging it, I feel like you're going to have a much easier time bringing that club head back into the ball, and you're going to improve your odds of just hitting closer to the center of the face, which is what's the most important in terms of controlling not only your distance, but also your direction as well. So one more, and try and get this to 150 meters. Slight fade. Okay, one landed about 148 meters. That's pretty close. I'll just show you guys my 80%. This is kind of the speed at which I feel is about 80 to 85%. Okay. So yeah, you guys can go through the same drill or same exercise and just figure out which tempo gets you to hit the best contact and then makes you feel comfortable, not transitioning so quick from the top. Okay, that's the whole purpose, is that it forces you to kind of be more conscious of your rhythm and conscious of how fast you're taking it back and coming down. Okay, so give that a try and just let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. So if you are still struggling with your ball striking a little bit, I recommend that you check out my other video called The Best Ball Striking Drill. I'll leave a link to that in the description box and also at the end screen. But that's also a very good drill that will go over proper sequencing and maybe give you some other concepts to think about. And you can even combine the concepts that I talked about in this video with that video as well. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow me on my Instagram at Jonathan K. Moss, where you can inquire about online lessons. I will also leave a link to my website in the description box below where you can check out all the details. But other than that, I'll see you guys on the next video.